the heart of West Virginia lies Point Pleasant, an ordinary town painted in shades of quaint charm and whispers of the unknown. The sun would dip behind the green hills, casting a golden hue across the sky, but as twilight set in, the air filled with an unexplainable aura. A quiet streets, lined with small houses and the flicker of street lamps, echoed with tales of the past. Lena, a local journalist with a thirst for the mysterious, found herself drawn to the stories that swirled around the town like leaves caught in a gentle breeze. Had it that strange sightings lurked beyond the edge of the woods, sightings that danced on the border of myth and reality. A murmurs floated through the diners and coffee shops, igniting a flicker of intrigue in her heart. She sat at her favorite cafe, the clinking of cups offset by the quiet confessions of townsfolk sharing ghostly encounters. A group of locals huddled together, their voices low and conspiratorial, spoke of glowing red eyes piercing through the night, and the shadow of an enormous creature gliding silently above the trees. Its were filled with awe and terror, tales woven with uncertainty. Tucked under her arm, Lena decided it was time to investigate the phenomenon that haunted Point Pleasant. Brought to life through whispers, she felt a magnetic pull toward the woods that cradled the town. A thrill of excitement coursed through her, mingling with a tinge of fear. She envisioned the headlines. Is Mothman a myth or a guardian? As dusk draped itself over the landscape, Lena ventured to the forest's edge. The trees stood tall and imposing, their branches like gnarled fingers reaching up to the sky, whispering secrets that only the night could understand. The air thickened with anticipation as she took cautious steps into the shadows, her heart beating softly in rhythm with the rustling leaves. With each step, she imagined stories unfolding. She was a seeker of truth, a chronicler of the mysterious. The deeper she wandered, the more the sounds of the town faded away, replaced by the symphony of night, the rustle of critters, the occasional hoot of an owl, and the soft whisper of the wind cradling her thoughts. The forest held its breath, and for a moment the world around her vanished. Lena paused, taking in the subtle soundscape, both wondrous and alarming. A motion caught her eye, a fleeting shadow dancing between the trees. A rush of adrenaline kicked in. Was it real, or merely a figment of her imagination? She pressed on, determined to uncover the truth behind the whispering legend. She continued her exploration. Echoes of past tales filled her mind, stories of guardians and omens woven into the fabric of the town. Lena could almost hear Grandma Hazel's voice, the wise voice that spoke with reverence of the creature. Woman, with her weathered hands and sparkling eyes, often claimed that Mothman was tied to the town's spirit. Some saw him as a protector, while others feared the darkness he heralded. A night deepened, and a soft mist curled around Elena's feet, lending an air of enchantment and eeriness. Swept through the air, gently brushing against her skin. This place was alive with history, a living tapestry of belief and fear, and she was but a thread weaving her own tale into its narrative. I took a deep breath, focusing on the present. Her investigation was just beginning, her heart soaring with possibility as she navigated the tangled paths of reality and myth. Determined to sift through the whispers in the night, to forge a connection between the past and the present. Know that the legend was watching, its presence felt in the rustling of the leaves and the soft flutter of wings. A night stretched on, and with it, the promise of a story yet to unfold. In the heart of Point Pleasant, the air began to grow thick with uncertainty. She stood at the edge of a woods, her mind swirling with questions, as James approached with an expression of mild annoyance. He was a rational man, grounded in the laws of nature and science, yet he couldn't quite shake the sense of apprehension the legends inspired. He felt the heat of his skepticism as they exchanged glances. Despite James's dismissive stance on folklore, she believed there might be grains of truth hidden within the tales of the mysterious Mothman. She found herself driven by an insatiable curiosity, wanting to uncover what lay behind the tales told by locals. To her, each murmur in the night, each shadow among the trees, hinted at something both intriguing and sinister. James, on the other hand, couldn't fathom the fascination woven into such folklore. He paused, gathering his thoughts before voicing his perspective. A rational explanation spun from science were aglow in his mind, filled with logic and reasoning. His view, the Mothman was nothing more than a figment of imagination, shaped and twisted through stories passed down generation. Countered with a soft determination, he believed that sometimes something beyond the physical realm could linger amid the whispers of the wind and the rustle of the leaves. Mothman, as far as she was concerned, could embody the fears and hopes of the people in town. A line between guardian and omen seemed to blur in her thoughts, creating a fascinating tapestry of belief. Yet, as James examined the shadows cast by the fading light, he couldn't help but feel a sense of foreboding. Superstitions that had taken root in Point Pleasant lingered like a thick fog, snaking through the streets and into the hearts of the townsfolk. Though he prided himself on his adherence to rationality, he considered the implications of the upcoming storm, and the whispers in the dark began to gnaw at his resolve. Amidst their discussion, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the woods into an Inkai embrace. Lena contemplated James's strident logic, wondering if there was a sliver of truth to his skepticism. He pondered what would happen if the Mothman materialized before them. Could James remain unfazed? Would his scientific mind shatter under the weight of the unknown in that twilight serenity? Ami's naive yet hopeful voice echoed in her mind his belief in Mothman as a guardian, creature that watched over the innocent. The contrast between Tommy's innocence and James's skepticism painted a vivid picture in her thoughts as they moved deeper into the woods, shadows elongating with each step. Atmosphere thickened with expectancy, leaving a lingering tension that buzzed around them like unseen energy. Despite James's rationality, a seed of doubt had wedged itself within him, presenting the familiar struggle between reason and imagination. They traversed the path. Whispers of fears long buried began to circle back into their consciousness. Would it emerge as a symbol of disaster, or would it serve as a beacon of hope? The questions hung heavily in the air, resonating with a haunting echo that tethered them to the legends of their past. Settling chill caressed their skin, and the woods seemed to come alive with an eerie symphony, leaves rustling softly, branches snapping like dark promises, and the distant call of an owl. Each sound intensified the weight of uncertainty they clung to, binding all three of them together in their quest for understanding. Heart thrummed with anticipation, mingled with fear. A balance of belief and doubt woven into the fabric of Point Pleasant would soon confront them. For better or for worse, they were on the brink of discovering what lay beyond the realm of mere legend, a truth that might just eclipse their understanding of the Mothman and its intricate dance with their fate. The storm clouds gathered overhead, casting a shadow over Point Pleasant. The atmosphere grew thick with tension. Lena found herself standing with James and Tommy at the edge of the forest, a sense of expectancy crackling in the air. The impending storm mirrored the turbulent emotions swirling within the group. Felt a magnetic pull, urging her to push deeper into the woods, while James's skepticism clashed with the palpable energy of the night. Ami, ever the believer, clutched tightly onto the small flashlight he had brought, his wide eyes shimmering with wonder. They chose a clearing to set up their vigil, a small space where the trees parted just enough to allow glimpses of the turbulent sky. The first drops of rain began to splatter against the leaves. The sound echoed like whispers, a gentle patter that urged the trio to settle in and watch the unfolding night. They huddled close, their breaths mingling with the fresh scent of earth and rain. With her heart racing, recount the tales she had heard from the townsfolk, the legends of Mothman, an eerie guardian that hovered in the periphery of their fears. With a fervor that filled the air with vivid imagery, James, ever the skeptic, reminded them of the rational explanations for their experiences, found it hard to suppress the shiver that ran down his spine each time the wind howled. The storm rolled in. Flashes of lightning illuminated the trees, momentarily revealing their grotesque shapes, branches twisting like gnarled fingers. Each crack of thunder sent tremors through the ground, a reminder of nature's wildness, igniting both fear and excitement among the three. The deeper they ventured into the night and its mystery, the more they felt the tug of Mothman's presence. Ami, seated between the two adults, shared his spirited tales of Mothman, the way its eyes glowed fiercely in the dark, and how it swooped down to save him one fateful night. His innocence shone brightly against James's pragmatism, a light of hope that whispered of magic and protection. Each word from Tommy's lips felt like a thread connecting them to something greater, something that transcended mere earthly understanding. Time slipped away unnoticed, the night deepening into an all-consuming embrace that whispered secrets all around them. Shadows danced among the trees, and every rustle echoed a heartbeat, heightened by the anticipation they shared. The air grew electric, charged with the possibility of the legendary creature appearing before them. Lena's heart raced erratically, both anxious and exhilarated, as she felt the line between the ordinary and the extraordinary blur. The rain intensified, a torrential downpour that drenched everything in its path, creating a rhythm that pulsed around them. In that chaotic symphony, a sudden stillness settled, as if the world held its breath. Exchanged uncertain glances, the fear of the unknown swirling within them. Would it be this was the moment they had come for? Then, in an instant, the air shifted. It swept through the treetops, far larger than any bird. Gracefully, cutting through the rain-soaked night with an undeniable presence. Gasp escaped Elena's lips, a mix of awe and trepidation, as she peered into the depths of the woods, searching for the legendary figure. Lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating a pair of glowing red eyes, piercing through the storm. Mothman appeared, its immense wings spread wide, draped against the tumultuous backdrop of nature's fury. Time seemed to pause as each character processed this entwining moment. For Elena, it was bewildering beauty, a captivating sight that fulfilled her journalistic quest. James, however, felt the chill of fear prickling at the back of his mind, questioning every certainty he held. Tommy, clutching his flashlight, beamed with joy, certain that the Guardian had chosen to reveal itself. Mothman hovered momentarily above them. A sound resonated, a low, mournful cry that reverberated through the clearing. Each heart felt the weight of that sound, a blend of hope and foreboding. They stood entranced, two minds wrestling with disbelief and belief, while one heart remained open to the magic unfolding. That moment, the boundaries of reality faded away. Each character's internal struggles converged into a singular understanding. Mothman embodied both hope and fear, a specter that thrived in the heart of legends. They were witnesses to something profound, as the creature's silhouette danced against the stormy sky, captured in the fleeting interplay of light and shadow. A storm raged on, flinging raindrops like arrows, yet Elena, James, and Tommy stood firm, cemented by their shared experience. They had reached an intersection of belief and reality, ushering in the dawn of new stories that entwined truth with myth. When breathed life into their fears and hopes, an eternal legend that refused to fade into the background. The night wore on, and the storm began to subside. Lena felt the rumblings of change beneath her feet. It's the beginning of something larger than any of them, a story that stretched beyond the pages of her journal. In that moment of connection, as the Mothman drifted gracefully into the night, they understood the beauty of shared dreams. The darkness and the whispers of the storm, they returned home, each carrying a piece of the legend within them. Mothman, in all its mystery, had woven them into the very fabric of Point Pleasant's lore, and the night held promises of adventures yet to come. The vibrant hues of sunset melted into a star-studded night. The air grew thick with a feeling of anticipation. The trio, Elena, James, and Tommy, found themselves enveloped by the ancient woods, where shadows swayed with the whispering breeze. Twilight wrapped around them like a shroud, transforming the mundane into the mystic. Up ahead, the path twisted and turned, each curve a doorway into the unknown. They halted, the silence settling like a heavy blanket, murmurs of past fears echoing in their minds. There was something in the air, a silent promise tinged with a hint of danger. It called out to them, inviting them deeper. Lena's heart raced, both excited and apprehensive. Her thoughts danced with the tales spoken by townsfolk, especially Tommy's innocent belief in Mothman. To him, the creature represented solace in tumultuous times, a beacon that illuminated paths in the dark. The child had captivated her with his tale of glowing red eyes shining like lanterns in the midnight woods. He could sense resurgence in the atmosphere, eager to unveil the truth behind the story and the creature that lingered just beyond their sight. James remained pensive, glancing at the canopy above each fluttering leaf chimed a dissonant note against his rational mindset. Opening his mouth, he aimed to quell the ghostly feelings creeping up his spine, but the words faltered. Impending storm loomed heavily overhead. Would Mothman truly emerge tonight, the harbinger or the guardian? He wrestled with the very essence of belief as the soft thud of his heart echoed doubts he couldn't quite dismiss. Ami, full of youthful exuberance, shifted his weight restlessly, pointing toward the silhouette of trees as though sensing something just beyond their reach. His eyes seemed to sparkle with resolve, unwavering in the face of darkness. Tales of bravery and guardianship that this legend embodied painted vivid images in his mind. For Tommy, Mothman was a friend bound by a shared history with the town. It shifted. A presence seemed to ripple through the woods, awakening an ancient pulse buried under the layers of doubt. Then, as if summoned by their collective thoughts, a rustling sound broke the stillness, a sharp crack, then deeper shadows unfurled. The air crackled with energy, and a sense of something grander than each of them loomed in waiting. Stepped closer, drawn to the invisible thread that connected her to everything unfolding around them. He strained to listen. The whispers of the woods melded into a symphony that edged closer to harmony, weaving together their hopes, fear, and uncertainty. The unknown creature was out there, and she felt it, a heartbeat resonating with the rhythm of her own. Suddenly, a figure appeared. First, it was shrouded in darkness, a mere shadow among shadows. But then, as the wind shifted once more, they saw it, a silhouette framed against the storm, majestic and haunting. Mothman emerged, wings stretching out like a tapestry woven from night itself, dark and ornate. In that moment, time hung suspended, breath caught in throat, as the creature turned, revealing its piercing red eyes aglow, capturing their attention and fear. Felt a rush of awe, a chilling thrill running down her spine. Was it fear or reverence? To James, what had once felt like a mere urban legend breathed life before him, shattering his skepticism in an instant. He stood frozen, the scientific inclinations within him struggling against the exhilarating unknown. Ami gasped, captivated and gleeful, believing without hesitation that this was his protector materializing from the tales he had cherished. Fear mingled with wonder. A heavy silence enveloped them, a profound moment that transcended words. Mothman's presence seemed to fill the air, reflecting back their internal struggles. The creature hovered as though aware of each heart beating wildly beneath its gaze. Mirror for their fears, a reminder of the hope that ebbed and flowed within the tapestry of Point Pleasant. That intense silence, as raindrops began to fall softly, Lena sensed that perhaps Mothman was not merely one or the other, a harbinger or guardian, but a complex embodiment of the very spirit of the town. Presence meant to steer souls through the fog of uncertainty. The shadows of doubt swirled around them, each character standing at a crossroads, each clinging to their own version of truth. They stood together under the tempestuous sky. The soft thrum of the approaching storm echoed a promise of change. A storm would bring chaos, but it also held the potential for unity, a mosaic of belief woven into the fabric of Point Pleasant. Just as the creature appeared, it spread its magnificent wings, a symbol of mystery and legacy soaring into the night. A wind howled, began to pour, and Elena, James, and Tommy remained transfixed, knowing they had witnessed something extraordinary, a dance between the realm of legends and the fabric of reality, forever intertwining their fates with that of the Mothman. The storm subsided. Point Pleasant emerged from the depths of chaos, windswept yet resilient. Lena, James, and Tommy stood in the clearing, remnants of the nocturnal tempest lingering in the air like a heavy fog. The glow of street lamps flickered in the distance, a comfort amid the uncertainty that hovered around them. It had claimed a part of their sense of reality. The bond they shared now wove tightly with the threads of belief and disbelief. Lena felt a rush of exhilaration coursing through her veins. The moment they had witnessed was etched into her mind like a vivid painting. A Mothman, a creature of astonishing grace and mystery, had materialized in front of them, a haunting vision that would shape her story for generations to come. She envisioned the article she would write, capturing the essence of the night of fright, wonder, and connection. James, shaken but contemplative, struggled to articulate the whirlwind of emotions that had surged through him. His scientific mind fought against the reality he had encountered, yet the palpable presence of Mothman left him in a quandary. There had been no denying the grandeur of the legend as it unfolded before him, but the rational chords of his intellect clung tightly, desperate to uphold a sense of order amid chaos. Ami, ever the believer, was giddy with joy. His eyes shone with an unmatched brightness, his heart filled with the kind of hope only a child could possess. He was convinced that Mothman had been there to protect them, to guide them through the storm, and whisper promises of safety amidst the unknown. To him, the creature was not just a legend, but a guardian angel who had watched over him during both dark nights and bright days. They made their way back through the forest. An unspoken pact formed between them, binding their experiences in a multitude of ways. Each step was quiet, the ground soaked beneath their feet, yet the silence was thick with the weight of understanding. They had traversed the line between myth and reality, and it had changed each of them just a little bit more. Upon reaching the town's edge, the trio paused, taking in the sight of Point Pleasant, illuminated now in the gentle light of dawn breaking on the horizon. Despite the damage from the storm, a sense of community arose, neighbors helping neighbors, the spirit of resilience echoing throughout the streets. Families began to emerge, carrying brooms and shovels, confronting the remnants of the tempest with laughter and camaraderie. Lena, inspired, felt a surge of urgency to share their experience, and connecting the townsfolk with the remarkable tale they had just lived, showing them how the legend, long viewed as a mere myth, intertwined with their very existence. Of belief and skepticism would fill the air as their story unfolded. They reached the clearing near a local diner. The entrance stood alive with voices eager to recount their own encounters, shared through laughter and stories, as if reaffirming the town's connection to its folklore. Felt a warmth spread through her heart, the realization that the legend of Mothman was not merely a ghost of the past, but a living spirit that revived dreams and fears alike. That moment, with the first rays of sunlight illuminating the sky, she saw Tommy step forward, animatedly relaying their encounter to an eager crowd. His pure belief echoed in his words, reinforcing the town's bond with the tales that had shaped them. James listened, his skepticism slowly dissolved into curiosity. Elena smiled softly. Perhaps the Mothman was more than just a protector or an omen. It was a symbol of their shared experience, a bridge uniting belief and doubt. The understanding that the legends they experienced formed the very essence of who they were. The day transitioned into a glowing afternoon. Elena penned her article with fervor, infusing her words with meaning and depth. The messages of hope would blend seamlessly with the realities of storm and survival. Mothman, entwined in the fabric of their lives, would rise once more, filled with interpretations layered like the depths of their dreams, a protector for some, a foreboding presence for others. In time, Point Pleasant would heal. Stories shared that day would ripple through generations, igniting a newfound appreciation for the legends carried through the ages. Mothman would remain, whispering through the trees, watching over those who dared to dream of both the fearful and the miraculous. Each of them carried a piece of the legend with them. The Mothman would forever lurk in their memories, a reminder of the delicate balance between belief and reality, shining a light on the mysteries that life intertwined. They embraced the journey ahead, uncertain yet hopeful. The vibrant hues of sunset melted into a star-studded night. The air grew thick with a feeling of anticipation. The trio, Elena, James, and Tommy, found themselves enveloped by the ancient woods, where shadows swayed with the whispering breeze. Twilight wrapped around them like a shroud, transforming the mundane into the mystic. Up ahead, the path twisted and turned, each curve a doorway into the unknown. They halted, the silence settling like a heavy blanket, murmurs of past fears echoing in their minds. There was something in the air, a silent promise tinged with a hint of danger. Called out to them, inviting them deeper. Lena's heart raced, both excited and apprehensive. Her thoughts danced with the tales spoken by townsfolk, especially Tommy's innocent belief in Mothman. To him, the creature represented solace in tumultuous times, a beacon that illuminated paths in the dark. A child had captivated her with his tale of glowing red eyes shining like lanterns in the midnight woods. He could sense resurgence in the atmosphere, eager to unveil the truth behind the story and the creature that lingered just beyond their sight. James remained pensive, glancing at the canopy above each fluttering leaf chimed a dissonant note against his rational mindset. Opening his mouth, he aimed to quell the ghostly feelings creeping up his spine, but the words faltered. Impending storm loomed heavily overhead. Would Mothman truly emerge tonight, the harbinger or the guardian? He wrestled with the very essence of belief as the soft thud of his heart echoed doubts he couldn't quite dismiss. Tommy, full of youthful exuberance, shifted his weight restlessly, pointing toward the silhouette of trees as though sensing something just beyond their reach. His eyes seemed to sparkle with resolve, unwavering in the face of darkness. Tales of bravery and guardianship that this legend embodied painted vivid images in his mind. For Tommy, Mothman was a friend bound by a shared history with the town. It shifted. A presence seemed to ripple through the woods, awakening an ancient pulse buried under the layers of doubt. Then, as if summoned by their collective thoughts, a rustling sound broke the stillness, a sharp crack, then deeper shadows unfurled. The air crackled with energy, and a sense of something grander than each of them loomed in waiting. Stepped closer, drawn to the invisible thread that connected her to everything unfolding around them. He strained to listen. The whispers of the woods melded into a symphony that edged closer to harmony, weaving together their hopes, fear, and uncertainty. The unknown creature was out there, and she felt it, a heartbeat resonating with the rhythm of her own. Suddenly, a figure appeared. First, it was shrouded in darkness, a mere shadow among shadows. But then, as the wind shifted once more, they saw it, a silhouette framed against the storm, majestic and haunting. Mothman emerged, wings stretching out like a tapestry woven from night itself, dark and ornate. In that moment, time hung suspended, breath caught in throat, as the creature turned, revealing its piercing red eyes aglow, capturing their attention and fear. Felt a rush of awe, a chilling thrill running down her spine. Was it fear or reverence? To James, what had once felt like a mere urban legend breathed life before him, shattering his skepticism in an instant. He stood frozen, the scientific inclinations within him struggling against the exhilarating unknown. Tommy gasped, captivated and gleeful, believing without hesitation that this was his protector materializing from the tales he had cherished. Fear mingled with wonder. A heavy silence enveloped them, a profound moment that transcended words. Mothman's presence seemed to fill the air, reflecting back their internal struggles. The creature hovered as though aware of each heart beating wildly beneath its gaze. A mirror for their fears, a reminder of the hope that ebbed and flowed within the tapestry of Point Pleasant. That intense silence, as raindrops began to fall softly, Lena sensed that perhaps Mothman was not merely one or the other, a harbinger or guardian, but a complex embodiment of the very spirit of the town. Presence meant to steer souls through the fog of uncertainty. The shadows of doubt swirled around them, each character standing at a crossroads, each clinging to their own version of truth. They stood together under the tempestuous sky. The soft thrum of the approaching storm echoed a promise of change. A storm would bring chaos, but it also held the potential for unity, a mosaic of belief woven into the fabric of Point Pleasant. Just as the creature appeared, it spread its magnificent wings, a symbol of mystery and legacy soaring into the night. A wind howled, began to pour, and Elena, James, and Tommy remained transfixed, knowing they had witnessed something extraordinary, a dance between the realm of legends and the fabric of reality. forever intertwining their fates with that of the Mothman. The aftermath of the storm, Lena, James, and Tommy found themselves standing in a clearing, the air still tinged with the remnants of chaos. The vibrant hues of early dawn broke through the lingering clouds, revealing a Point Pleasant battered yet resilient. Lamps flickered in the distance, their warm glow bringing a sense of solace amid the uncertainty that lingered in the air. Lena's heart raced with exhilaration, replaying the astonishing moment they had just witnessed. Mothman had appeared before them, gliding through the storm like a dark angel, its wings an embodiment of both fear and hope. The experience etched itself like a vivid painting in her mind, a narrative just waiting to be woven into the tapestry of her article. He envisioned the headlines, capturing the blend of fright and wonder that characterized their encounter with the legendary creature. James stood beside her, shaken but introspective. His scientific mind wrestled with the emotions swirling within him. The grandeur of Mothman's presence had shattered his previous convictions, leaving him grappling with the line between fact and fiction. Nonetheless, the experience left an imprint on his logical framework, forcing him to reconsider the stories that permeated the town. Ami, bursting with joy, could barely contain his excitement. His wide eyes shimmered like the first rays of sunlight, filled with a sense of purpose that only a child could possess. He believed wholeheartedly that Mothman had watched over them, guiding them through the storm and offering reassurance amid the unknown. For him, the creature was not a mere figment of folklore but a guardian spirit. They made their way back through the damp forest. A quiet understanding settled over them like a warm blanket. Each step echoed with the weight of their shared experience, binding them together as they traversed the path lined with possibilities. It was the threshold between myth and reality, and the crossing had changed them in ways they were only beginning to comprehend. Reaching the edge of town, they paused, taking in the sight of their beloved Point Pleasant illuminated by the dawn's gentle light. Despite the remnants of the storm's wrath, a palpable sense of community grew around them. Neighbors emerged from their homes, armed with brooms and shovels, confronting the aftermath with laughter and fellowship. A spirit of resilience rekindled hope in the hearts of the townsfolk. Lena, inspired by the scene unfolding before her, felt urgency swell within. Share their extraordinary experience, to link her community with the remarkable tale they had lived. Mothman was not just a relic of the past, it was a vital thread interwoven with their collective identity. He envisioned the whispers of beliefs mingling with skepticism, shaping a vibrant narrative that would echo through the ages. They approached the clearing near a local diner. The sound of animated voices greeted them. The air was alive with exchanges of countless encounters, laughter weaving tales into the fabric of the community. Ami, bubbling with energy, stepped forward, animatedly recounting their shared night. The clarity of his belief painted vivid images, reinforcing the town's connection to their folklore. Lena smiled softly as she watched James listen, his skepticism fading into intrigue. Her that perhaps Mothman was more than a mere guardian or an omen. Bridge uniting belief with doubt, urging them to understand that their experiences with the legends formed their very essence. The sun shone brighter as the day unfolded, and Elena set to work on her article. Each word she penned carried the weight of the previous night, an intricate blend of hope, survival, and the spirit of a community united through shared stories. Of Mothman would merge with the reality of their lives, instilling a renewed appreciation for the legends passed down through generation. In time, Point Pleasant would heal. Mothman would continue to lurk in the shadows, silently observing those who dared to dream both fearfully and courageously. Each character held a piece of the legend within them, a testament to the fragile balance between belief and reality. They ventured forth into an uncertain yet hopeful future, forever imprinted by the mysteries behind the haunting wings of Mothman. The storm's fury began to ebb. Point Pleasant shimmered under a delicate veil of raindrops, glistening like tiny gems adorning the remnants of a tempestuous night. Lena, James, and Tommy emerged from the woods, hearts still racing from their encounter with the enigmatic Mothman. The air, once charged with ominous energy, now held a gentle calm, mingling the sweet scent of damp earth with the soft whispers of newfound hope. Lena felt a surge of exhilaration coursing through her. She had glimpsed magic amidst chaos, a breathtaking dance tethering the realms of belief and reality. The nights when whispers of Mothman floated through the town had solidified into a vivid memory, one she was eager to weave into her story, a blend of truth and myth that danced together beautifully. They reached the clearing. The first rays of dawn illuminated Point Pleasant, revealing the aftermath of the storm, a town battered but unbroken. Observed familiar streets awakening, neighbors emerging with brooms and shovels, laughter rippling through the air like a soothing balm, stitching the fabric of community tighter. James, absorbing the scene before him, found himself tangled in contemplation. A Mothman had disrupted the confines of his rational world, and as he glanced around at the faces filled with resilience, he perceived a connection, a thread of folklore binding them all together. Though skepticism still lingered in his mind, the experience had ignited a flicker of curiosity regarding the intertwined nature of myth and existence. Ami, effervescent with joy, was enveloped in an animated retelling of their adventure, eyes sparkling like the dew-kissed leaves around them. He spoke of the glowing red eyes, the powerful wings, and how Mothman had felt like a guardian in that moment of uncertainty. Each word he shared resonated with the townsfolk, weaving threads of excitement and belief, reminding everyone that the legends whispered through generations were now alive in their hearts. Lena could see the magic as Tommy's words sparked flickers of remembrance in the elders. Grandma Hazel's weathered voice echoed in her mind, speaking reverently of Mothman, that not only watched over them, but formed a vital part of their shared history. Passed down from generation to generation, resonated with an undeniable truth, consciousness simmering beneath the surface of their reality. That sacred space, where the remnants of a storm met the dawning light, Lena decided to capture this moment in her writing, an exploration of hope synthesized from fear, a delicate balance between belief and skepticism. Lies her words becoming anchors for the townsfolk, creating a shared understanding that the spirit of Mothman coursed through their very existence. The group made their way toward the diner, where warmth and the comforting aroma of coffee awaited them. Laughter began to echo in the air, murmurs of relief and camaraderie, filled with a shared sense of rebirth. The fabric of Point Pleasant was being rewoven, strengthened by their collective appreciation for both the darkness and light, the fear and hope that coexisted. Opening the door to the diner, they were greeted by smiling faces and welcoming arms, eager to share their own stories, each anecdote, intricate thread pulling the community closer together. Mothman, once regarded as a mere whisper of a tale, had transformed into a symbol anchoring their once fragmented souls. The warmth of the diner, friendships blossomed anew, perspectives shifted, and unspoken connections formed, like silken strands weaving a tapestry of narratives bound by heart. Lena knew the legend of Mothman would ripple through generations, a reminder of the night when shadows danced and hearts united under the shared weight of belief. A sun rose higher, illuminating the town with warmth, the storm now a distant memory. The legacy of Mothman would continue to whisper through the trees, and the tales of the townsfolk, the guardian who was both an omen and protector, embodying the emotional landscape of the very place they called home. Her pen danced across the page, expressing the amalgamation of fear, wonder, and resilience. Felt like a thread sewn into the fabric of this living legend, part of a story that transcended time. It held tales of the heart and the promise of tomorrow. The quiet corners of Point Pleasant, the spirit of the Mothman would always linger, reminding them that every legend held within it the power to illuminate paths even in the darkest of nights.